Picture this: a young man, heart racing, phone in hand, about to make a decision that would change everything. He's been talking to her for weeks, and now she's asking for money. Should he send it? What happens next will leave you shocked. Meet Charles, a hardworking graduate student living in Charlotte, North Carolina. Like many of us, he was looking for love in the digital age. One evening, while swiping through Hinge, he matched with Cassie, a beautiful woman from Boston. What started as a simple online chat quickly blossomed into something more. Long phone calls filled with laughter, flirty texts that made his heart skip a beat, and late-night conversations that seemed to last forever. It felt like the beginning of something real. Despite the distance between them, Charles and Cassie's connection grew stronger with each passing day. After weeks of talking, they both felt it was time to take the next step. They decided it was time to meet in person. Cassie would fly down to Charlotte, bridging the gap between their virtual romance and reality. Charles, wanting to be a gentleman and ease her travel stress, offered to send her money to cover a round-trip flight. Cassie gratefully accepted, and everything seemed perfect. But as we all know, life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect them. Just a week before the highly anticipated trip, Cassie dropped a bombshell. She told Charles she could no longer make it and would instead convert the ticket to flight credit. Charles was disappointed but understanding. After all, life happens, right? He tried to remain positive, believing they would have another chance to meet soon. They kept talking and planned to reschedule their meeting. However, just a few days later, Cassie hit Charles with another unexpected request. She asked for money to fix her hair, get her nails done, and buy a few personal items before their rescheduled trip. Charles felt a knot forming in his stomach. He didn't feel comfortable with this new request. In his mind, that kind of stuff was on his responsibility, especially since they hadn't even met in person yet. But instead of expressing his discomfort directly, he simply told her it wasn't a good time financially. And that's when everything changed. Cassie's reaction was not what Charles expected. She got upset, telling him she didn't feel loved or wanted. Charles was confused and taken aback. How did refusing to pay for lashes and nails translate to not caring? The disconnect between their perspectives was growing wider by the minute. Then came the silence. The once constant stream of messages and calls dried up. Days turned into a week. A week turned into 2. Cassie stopped responding to his messages altogether. The vibrant connection they had built over weeks seemed to vanish into thin air. Charles began to feel used and played. He had sent her money in good faith for the flight, and now, not only had the trip been canceled, but the communication was dead too. The weight of disappointment and frustration settled heavily on his shoulders. Unsure of what to do next, Charles confided in a friend. After listening to the whole story, his friend gave him some straightforward advice. "Bro, just ask her to refund the money." It seemed like a simple solution to a complex problem. So, gathering his courage, Charles reached out to Cassie and asked for a refund. But once again, her reaction caught him off guard. Cassie was upset, claiming she still loved him, but felt hurt that he would unprovide for her the way she wanted. Charles was stunned. Was this all just about money? Had he misunderstood the nature of their relationship? Things picked up again for a little while, but the tension never truly left. Cassie continued to accuse him of not truly loving her, creating a rift that seemed impossible to bridge. The once promising connection was now fraught with misunderstandings and conflicting expectations. Eventually, Cassie made the decision to end it, for good. The finality of her choice hit Charles hard. He was left heartbroken, and now convinced that he had been manipulated from the start. Feeling hurt and betrayed, Charles made one final move. He reached out to Cassie one last time, his message devoid of the emotion that had characterized their previous exchanges. He told her plainly, "If you don't refund the money, I'll report you to the authorities, make you very popular." It was a last-ditch effort to reclaim what he felt was rightfully his. Suddenly, Cassie's attitude changed. She moved quickly, paying him back in full without further argument. The abrupt shift in her behavior only served to confirm Charles' suspicions about her true intentions. As we reflect on Charles and Cassie's story, it raises several thought-provoking questions. Was Charles wrong for asking for his money back, or was he simply setting healthy boundaries? It's a complex issue that doesn't have a clear-cut answer. Some might argue that Charles was justified in requesting a refund, After all, the money was specifically for a trip that never happened. Others might say that once you give money in a relationship, asking for it back is poor form, regardless of the circumstances. Then there's the question of Cassie's behavior. Was she manipulative, using Charles for financial gain? Or was she genuinely emotionally hurt by what she perceived as a lack of care and investment in their relationship? It's possible that both parties had different expectations and failed to communicate them effectively. Should Charles have paid for Cassie's hair and nails?
No.
This touches on broader questions about financial responsibilities in relationships, especially ones that haven't yet moved into the real world. Some might say it's a reasonable request if they were planning to meet, while others would view it as an inappropriate expectation so early on. If a romantic plan falls through, should the money be refunded, even if feelings are still involved? This is a tricky situation that many people find themselves in. While it might seem cut and dry from a business perspective, emotions can complicate matters significantly. Looking back, what red flags should Charles have seen earlier? Perhaps Cassie's reaction to his refusal to pay for her personal care items was a warning sign. Or maybe the sudden silence after the canceled trip should have raised more alarm bells. It's also worth considering how people might react if the roles were reversed. If Cassie had sent Charles money for a flight and he canceled, would the general reaction be the same? This question highlights potential double standards in how we view financial dynamics in relationships. As we wrap up Charles and Cassie's story, it's clear that there are no easy answers. Relationships, especially those that begin online, can be complicated and fraught with misunderstandings. Money often adds another layer of complexity to an already delicate situation. What do you think? Was Charles justified in asking for his money back, or should he have let it go? Is Cassie being manipulative, or was she just expressing her needs in the relationship? These are the kinds of questions that can spark heated debates and reveal a lot about our own values and expectations. In relationships, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might just change someone else's view on this complex issue. After all, it's through sharing our experiences and opinions that we can learn and grow, both in our understanding of relationships and in our ability to navigate the sometimes murky waters of modern dating. Remember, every relationship is unique, and what works for one couple might not work for another. The key is open communication, clear boundaries, and mutual respect. Whether you're just starting to date or in a long-term relationship, these principles can help guide you through even the trickiest situations. So, what's your take on Charles and Cassie's story? You see yourself in either of their shoes? Have you ever been in a similar situation? Share your thoughts, and let's keep this important conversation going. Your insight could be the advice someone else needs to hear today. If you find this content interesting, please like, subscribe, and check this page for more amazing content.